I am N.S. Venkatraman. I am speaking on behalf of Nandini Voice for the Deprived, a Chennai-based not-for-profit organization. Human beings, men and women, have always been wondering as to from where they have come to be born in the world and where they would go after the end of human life. This is the scenario from time immemorial for thousands of years. In spite of several efforts and struggle to find a meaning and significance and need for the origin and end of human life, people, almost all people, have not been able to find a convincing answer that appeals to the human brains. This is the ground reality. Let us discuss this subject today with what is possibly the way out of this situation. Now, what is the fact with regard to human life? In view of sustained efforts to understand the fact of human life over many centuries, several explanations have been guessed or imagined or evolved. As a result of such attempts to find answer, several religions have come up all over the world, resulting in sort of competition amongst the religions as to which answer and explanation is appropriate and which is not. Some religions speak about rebirth after the end of one's life. Until such time, one would lead a pious life that would facilitate him to reach the feet of God wherever he is and whatever he is. Some other religions talk about hell and heaven at the end of human life. So many other explanations have been offered and theories have been propounded like preordained fate, etc. There are several mythological stories establishing that there is God ruling the world and about God's incarnation to correct the world happenings from time to time. And such mythological stories describe impossible conditions such as a person having 10 heads and another person living and passing away and then coming back and resurrecting and so on, which cannot be even visualized by the humans. Individuals really do not understand clearly and convincingly and without an element of doubt as to why one would be born in the world and the human body would grow in size over the years and then finally perish in one way or the other. The fact is highlighted at the end of one's life that none is really big or small in the world, with death ending as an equalizer, and clearly create an impression that whatever one has achieved in life and not achieved in life is really in vacuum without any significance, whether the person is a president or a beggar. This is the real scenario. Now, let us have a look at another title, namely, is it a time passing exercise? Is the human life is a time passing exercise? In many cases, what is clear ultimately is that human life process end up as really a time passing exercise, with individuals getting themselves into the business of getting a living in the world and striving all the time in their lifetime to prove themselves to others with so-called aspirations and achievements. In such circumstances, many persons try to avoid the uncomfortable thought process relating to the origin and end of life, as they have no, so they move on blindly with the life process with imaginary hope and aspirations. With sort of helplessness, humans ultimately simply resign themselves to the confusion and lack of clarity about the purpose and otherwise of the human life. Ultimately, some theories are accepted by some, and some other theories are accepted by someone else simply as a matter of faith and with total helplessness. Now, what is the way out in such condition for an endlessly thinking human being on this subject? Let us have a look at it. Now, let us look at what Hindu religion says on this subject. Perhaps leaving aside several stories and theories that have been said and repeated over the years, fundamentals of Hindu religion thought suggests a way of life that enable one to live with peace and harmony, even with unresolved question about origin and end of human life. The fundamentals of Hindu religious thoughts ask the humans to introspect about the question, who am I? That ultimately would lead one to meditation, exercise, and make the individual conclude that whatever may be the origin and end of life, it cannot be and need not be probed beyond the level and beyond the limit. On the other hand, asking the question, who am I, enable one to understand the fruitlessness of the life process and the fact that life is essentially in vacuum. In such circumstances, the Hindu religion advocates visiting temples, offering prayers that would drive the mindset towards introspection on the inner self, meditation, and seek peace in the mind, destroying one's ego. Hindu religion asks everyone to lead their life actively with a sense of detachment, with hatred or prejudice towards none. This condition ultimately promotes peace and harmony in the mindset of individuals. That is what is really matters for an individual in the world. What really matters? Nothing more than peace. Nothing really matters more than the peace of mindset. Hindu thoughts do not ask individuals to lead inactive life, withdrawing from the life process. On the other hand, it advocates active life with detachment, with feelings of detachment. One would never know or need to know about the origin and end of life, as that thought process will lead to nowhere. Under the circumstances, achieving peace in the mind is all that is to be desired in the worldly life by individuals, even as we will continue the process of living active life. Such peace in the inner self amounts to realization of God within, which condition Hindu religion elegantly terms as Ananda. This should be the essence of the goal of human life, though it may be deemed to be a time-passing exercise. Now, let us look at a situation as to how Mr. Modi, the Prime Minister of India, has reacted to this kind of conditions and live with this kind of view in his life. Recently, Prime Minister Modi's 99-year-old mother passed away. Mr. Modi cremated the mother's body and then immediately went ahead with his official programs, even though passing away of his dear mother must have caused deep grief in the mindset of Prime Minister Mr. Modi. By this act, Mr. Modi exhibited his attitude of detachment and continued his work with dedication. This approach to the death of his mother reflects the true basics of Hindu philosophy, where the central advocacy is that one has to maintain detachment to the pleasures and pains of life, even as one would continue to pursue active life and maintain the work culture. Such approach to life, as exhibited by Mr. Modi, would pave way to achieve inner peace, which really amount to realization of God, whatever he is and wherever he is. Thank you very much.